you okay? Do you need help?
Do you know that feeling of chasing the wrong thing your whole life? That you worked so hard, achieved so much, but when you look back, you only see emptiness. This is the story of a man who had everything in his hands: money, success, freedom, but lost what really mattered. And when he finally understood this, it was too late. Or was it? Because sometimes, when we're at rock bottom, completely lost, that's exactly when someone appears, someone we least expected, to show us that there's still a way, and that it's never too late to start over. So subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment on where you're watching from, and let's get to the story. Marcus was 34 years old when everything fell apart. He was the kind of guy everyone envied, you know? Owner of a tech company in Seattle worth millions. Penthouse apartment with an ocean view. Imported car. Parties every week. His life was work and play. Nothing else mattered. But it wasn't always like that. Marcus grew up in a simple family. His father, Robert Drakarn, was a mechanic, and his mother, Helen, worked as a secretary at a school. They lived in a modest little house in Tacoma, about 40 minutes from Seattle. They were people of faith, simple folk, who raised Marcus with much love and few resources. When Marcus was 25, he created an app that became a huge hit. Within 2 years, he was a millionaire. His life changed completely. He moved to Seattle, bought that luxurious apartment, and started hanging out with a different crowd. Rich people. People who only thought about making more money and enjoying life. And you know what happened? Marcus drifted away from his parents, from the faith they tried to teach him, from everything that truly mattered. At first, he still called every week. "Hi, Mom, is everything all right?" He visited occasionally, but as the money increased, the visits decreased. The calls became shorter. There was always an important meeting, an event, a trip. Robert and Helen never complained. They were happy just to hear their son's voice. "He's busy, dear," the father would say to the mother when she sighed, looking at Marcus's picture on the shelf. "He works a lot." But deep down, they felt it. That growing distance. That emptiness. Marcus was so busy building his empire that he didn't notice the time passing. He didn't realize his father was aging quickly, that his mother was getting more and more tired. He thought he would always have time. There would always be a next time. Until it didn't happen. It was a Tuesday in March. Marcus was in an important meeting, closing a $2 million deal when his cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again. He ignored it. On the third time, he answered, irritated. "Marcus Anderson." It was a woman's voice, professional but kind. "Yes, who is it?" "My name is Sarah. I'm a nurse at Tacoma General Hospital. This is about your father, Robert Anderson." Marcus's heart froze. "He was admitted here 2 hours ago. It was a severe heart attack. You need to come now." Marcus dropped everything and ran. He drove like a madman down I-5, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. "Please, God, please," he whispered, even though he hadn't prayed in years. But when he arrived, it was already too late. Robert had died 15 minutes earlier. Marcus entered that hospital room and saw his father there, motionless, covered by a white sheet. And his mother. His mother was sitting beside the bed, holding her husband's hand, crying silently. "Mom." Marcus approached, his legs weak. Helen looked at her son. There was no anger in her eyes, only a deep sadness. "He called you, Marcus. In the last few minutes, he kept repeating your name. He wanted to see you one last time." Those words were like a knife to Marcus's chest. He knelt beside his mother and cried like he hadn't cried since he was a child. "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry I wasn't here. I'm sorry." But apologies don't bring anyone back. The funeral was 3 days later. Marcus organized everything, paid for everything, but none of that mattered. Money couldn't buy more time. It couldn't buy another conversation. It wouldn't buy the hug he never gave. And then, just 6 weeks later, Helen was gone too. The doctor said it was her heart, technically, but Marcus knew the truth. His mother died of grief. She died of longing, 52 years married to Robert, and she simply couldn't live without him. Marcus buried his mother next to his father in a small cemetery in Tacoma. He stood there alone, looking at the two gravestones, and he felt such a great emptiness inside him that it seemed like it would swallow him whole. That's when everything started to fall apart. First, it was just one drink to fall asleep, then two, then the whole bottle. Marcus stopped going to the office. He stopped answering calls. He stopped caring. The employees tried to contact him. The partners were worried, but he sent everyone away. "Leave me alone," he shouted. And they left. In 3 months, Marcus had lost half his weight. He wasn't eating properly. He wasn't sleeping properly. He only drank. And when alcohol was no longer enough to numb the pain, he started with other things. Drugs. Anything that would make him forget, even if only for a few hours, that he had wasted the last years of his parents' lives chasing after money. Why? He screamed alone in the empty apartment. Why was I so stupid? Why didn't I spend more time with them? Why did I think work was more important than them? But there was no answer. Only silence, and more drinking, and more drugs. His wealthy friends disappeared. The company began to sink without him. Marcus didn't care. Nothing else mattered anymore. He sold things to buy more alcohol, more drugs. The luxurious apartment became dirty, messy, a reflection of the chaos he had become inside. Then one night in September, Marcus staggered out of the apartment. He had drunk so much, used so much, that he barely knew where he was. He wandered aimlessly through the streets of Seattle, stumbling, falling, getting up again, and then, on a dark street near Pike Place Market, he finally fell and couldn't get up. He lay there, sprawled on the sidewalk, staring at the dark sky, feeling the fine rain fall on his face. That's it, he thought. That's how it ends. I deserved to be here. I deserved all of this. People walked past him. Some looked at him with disgust, others with pity. But nobody stopped. Nobody cared. He was just another drug addict on the street. Until a figure stopped in front of him. Marcus could barely focus his vision, but he saw a woman. She crouched down near him. "Hey, are you okay?" Her voice was soft, concerned. Marcus tried to answer, but the words wouldn't come out right. Everything was spinning. "You need help," she said, not as a question, but as a fact. "Come on, my car is nearby. My house is close by. You can't stay out here on the street like this." He tried to protest, but he didn't have the strength. He felt her helping him up, placing his arm over her shoulder. She was shorter than him, delicate, but possessed surprising strength. "Let's go, one step at a time." And Marcus let her. He let that stranger take him because, deep down, he didn't want to die on that sidewalk. Not really. Marcus woke up with the sunlight hitting his face. For a few seconds, he didn't know where he was. The ceiling was different. The smell was different. It wasn't his apartment. It wasn't the street. He tried to sit down, and a terrible headache erupted. He groaned softly. "Ah, you're awake." A cheerful female voice came from the kitchen. Marcus looked around. He was on a small sofa, covered by an old but clean blanket. The room was simple, very simple. Walls painted white, somewhat peeling, old but well-maintained furniture, family photos on the walls, everything very clean, organized, but clearly a house of people who didn't have much money. The woman appeared in the kitchen doorway. Marcus finally got a good look at her. She was about 28 years old, with brown hair tied in a ponytail, no makeup, wearing a simple blouse and jeans. But there was something about her, a sparkle in her eyes, a genuine smile. She was naturally beautiful, the kind of beauty that doesn't need anything artificial. "Hi," she said, still smiling. You were feeling really bad last night. I brought you here. I hope you don't mind. Marcus ran a hand over his face. Where? Where am I? In my house. It's small, I know, but it's home. She came closer. My name is Grace, by the way. Grace Miller. Marcus, he replied, his voice hoarse. Thank you, I guess. But why did you do this? Why did you help me? Grace shrugged, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Because you needed help. I couldn't leave you there in the street. And look, I'm not one to judge anyone. Everyone has their own story, you know? Marcus didn't know what to say. It had been so long since someone had been kind to him without wanting anything in return. You must be starving, Grace continued. Come have breakfast with us. My parents are already awake. Your parents? Yes, I live with them. They're older now and need help. She said this with such affection, such pride. Come on in. Don't be shy. Everyone is welcome here. Marcus stood up slowly, still a little dizzy. He followed Grace to a small kitchen where an elderly couple was sitting at the table. The man was about 70 years old, with white hair and strong hands from a lifetime of work. The woman was short, with gray hair and kind eyes. Mom, Dad, this is Marcus. He's going to have coffee with us. Welcome, son, the man said, pointing to an empty chair. Sit down. Thank you very much, sir. Marcus hesitated. You can call me Tom, and this is my wife, Linda. Linda poured Marcus a cup of coffee. You seem to have been through a lot, dear, but thank God Grace found you. That word, God. It had been so long since Marcus had heard someone speak of God so naturally, with such genuine gratitude. They began to eat. It was a simple breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, coffee. But there was something there at that table that Marcus hadn't felt in years. Warmth, family, real love. Grace talked to her parents with so much patience and affection. She helped her father fetch the salt. She wiped a crumb that fell on her mother's blouse. She laughed at her father's corny jokes. And they looked at her as if she were the most precious thing in the world. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. This was how he should have treated his parents. This was how he should have been there for them. Are you okay, Marcus? Grace asked, noticing that he had become quiet. He blinked, trying to hold back tears. I'm sorry. It's just... You remind me of my family. Do you have family? Linda asked gently. I had. Marcus took a deep breath. My parents died a few months ago, and I didn't have enough time with them. I worked too much, chased after the wrong things, and when I realized it, they were already gone. The silence that fell over the table wasn't uncomfortable. It was respectful. I'm sorry, Marcus said, wiping his eyes. I shouldn't be saying that. No, son, Tom said, placing his heavy hand on Marcus's shoulder. We're so sorry for your loss. And look, I don't know you, but I know your parents loved you, and they wouldn't want to see you like this, destroying yourself because of this. I know, Marcus whispered. But the pain, it won't go away. I've tried everything to make it stop. Alcohol, drugs, anything. But it won't go away. Grace leaned forward, her eyes filled with compassion, but also with hope. You know why? Because you're trying to run away from it. Pain is part of it, Marcus. It's part of love. If it didn't hurt, it's because you didn't love. But you can't let it destroy you. You need to transform this pain into something different. How? Marcus asked. And it was a genuine, desperate question. Grace smiled, that smile that seemed to light up the whole room. With faith, with purpose. You're still here, Marcus. That means your story isn't over. God still has plans for you. There was that word again, God. Marcus had grown up hearing about God. His parents took him to church every Sunday. But when the money came, when the success came, he had left all that behind. He had thought he didn't need to. And look where he had ended up. I don't know if I believe in that anymore, Marcus admitted. That's fine, Grace said, without judgment. But maybe you could try. We have a service at our church this Sunday. Why don't you come with us, just to see? No pressure. Marcus was going to refuse, but something inside him, perhaps desperation, perhaps curiosity, perhaps a last thread of hope, made him answer, Okay, I'll go. Grace's face lit up even more. Really? Oh, that's great. You'll see. It'll be good for you. In the following days, something strange happened. Marcus returned to his apartment, but he couldn't stop thinking about that family, about that simple house, about the genuine joy they had even though they didn't have much. And he thought of Grace, of the way she cared for her parents, of the way she looked at life, with hope, with faith, with love. She had no money, she had no luxuries, but she had something Marcus had lost a long time ago. She had peace. Sunday arrived. Marcus got ready. For the first time in months, he took a proper shower, shaved, and put on clean clothes. He got in his car and went to pick up Grace and her parents. When they got into the car, Tom whistled. Wow, what a car. Marcus gave a forced laugh. Yeah, I used to think these things mattered. And now? Grace asked from the back seat. Now I don't know what matters anymore, Marcus admitted. The church was small, a simple building in a modest neighborhood. Nothing luxurious, nothing ostentatious. Just simple people, hard-working people, people who came there seeking something greater than themselves. When Marcus entered, he felt something. He couldn't explain it. It was like coming home after years of being lost. The music began. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't professional, but it had soul. People sang from the heart, truly, and Grace, beside him, sang with her eyes closed, her hands raised, tears streaming down her face, tears of joy. Then the pastor began to speak. He wasn't eloquent, he wasn't fancy, but he spoke the truth. He spoke about forgiveness, about new beginnings, about how we can be broken, but God can put the pieces back together. You may think your story is over, the pastor said, looking directly at the congregation, and Marcus swore he was looking directly at him. You may think you've made too many mistakes, that you've gone too far, but I'm here to tell you, it's not too late. It's never too late to come home. And that's when Marcus broke down, right there, on that hard wooden bench, surrounded by strangers. He began to cry, not silent tears, deep sobs that came from within, from a place he had locked away months ago. Grace placed her hand on his shoulder. She didn't say anything. She just stood there, present. For the first time in months, maybe years, Marcus felt something other than pain. After that Sunday, something changed inside Marcus. It wasn't instantaneous, it wasn't magic, but it was real. He started going to church every week with Grace and her parents, and every time he went, it was like a part of him that had been dead started breathing again. He listened to the stories. He heard the testimonies of people who had gone through horrible things and had found hope, and he thought, if they could do it, maybe I can too. Grace and Marcus began spending more time together. She didn't preach to him. She didn't judge. She was just there. They talked for hours about life, about pain, about faith. She told him about her childhood, how her parents had always been poor, but had always been happy because they had each other and they had God. You know what I've learned? Grace said one night as they had coffee on her porch. Happiness doesn't come from having things. It comes from having purpose, from knowing you're here for a reason. And what is my purpose? Marcus asked, looking at the cup in his hands. You'll find out, she said, smiling. But I think it will have to do with honoring the memory of your parents, being the person they raised you to be. Those words kept echoing in Marcus's head. But the road wasn't easy. There were nights he almost gave up. There were nights when the urge to drink was so strong he trembled. There were nights when he picked up the phone to call the drug dealer and stopped at the last second. And always, when he was about to collapse, he would call Grace. "I can't," he said, his voice breaking. "It's too strong." "You can do it," she replied, firmly but gently. "You're stronger than this. And you're not alone, Marcus. I'm here. God is here. We'll get through this together." And they passed another night, another day, another week. Over time, Marcus started cleaning the apartment. He started eating right again. He started exercising. He started taking care of himself. But most importantly, he started going back to the company. At first, the employees didn't know what to expect. The Marcus who had left months ago was a broken, destructive man. But the Marcus who returned was different. Calmer, more humble, more human. "Hi guys," he said at the first meeting, looking at the team that had stayed afloat while he was falling apart. "I know I abandoned you. I know I've been a terrible boss lately. And I'm sorry. Truly. But I'm coming back now. And I promise I'll be better." And so he went. Marcus started working, but in a different way. He no longer worked 12 or 14 hours a day. He worked his 8 hours and went home, because he had learned that work wasn't life. Work was just a part of life. He began visiting the cemetery where his parents were buried. Every week, without fail, he brought flowers, he cleaned the tombstones, and he talked to them. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad," he said, kneeling on the grass. "I know I messed up. I know I wasted precious time. But I'm trying to be better now. I'm trying to be the son you deserved. And I met someone special. I think you would like her." And as he spoke, he felt not complete peace because the pain was still there, but acceptance. He had learned that he couldn't change the past. He couldn't bring his parents back. He couldn't recover those lost years. But he could honor their memory by living differently from now on. Grace was patient with Marcus throughout this entire process. She watched him struggle. She watched him fall and get back up. And she never gave up on him. And little by little, as the months passed, what was friendship turned into something more. Marcus realized he was in love, not with Grace's physical beauty, although she was beautiful, but with the beauty of her soul, with her strength, with her faith, with the way she saw the best in people even when they didn't see it in themselves. It was on a spring night, almost a year after that day on the sidewalk, that Marcus finally found the courage to speak. They were sitting in her small backyard, looking at the stars. Tom and Linda had already gone to bed. "Grace," Marcus began, his heart racing. "I need to tell you something." She looked at him, those gentle eyes full of curiosity. "What is it?" You saved me. Not just that night on the street, but every day since then. You showed me that I could still be someone, that I still had value, that I could still start over." He took a deep breath. "And in the processing, Bear, I fell in love with you. Madly." Grace was silent for a moment. Then a smile. That smile spread across her face. "I fell in love with you too, Marcus," she said softly. "I saw the person you were beneath all that pain. I saw the man your parents raised, and I believed he was still there." Marcus pulled her into a hug, and for the first time in a long time, he felt he was exactly where he was supposed to be. They officially started dating, and it was a beautiful relationship, built on a solid foundation: faith, respect, true love. Marcus began helping Grace take care of her parents. He took Tom fishing. He helped Linda with the shopping. He treated them as if they were his own parents, whom he had lost. And Tom and Linda welcomed him as their son, because family isn't just blood, it's love, it's presence, it's choice. 2 years after that day on the sidewalk, Marcus proposed to Grace. It was simple, in the same backyard where they had that conversation under the stars. He knelt down on her with a modest ring, because he had learned that value isn't in the price, and asked, "Grace Miller, Will you spend the rest of your life with me? Will you let me take care of you, honor you, and build a family with you?" She said yes with tears in her eyes. The wedding was in the same small church where Marcus had first felt there was still hope. It was simple, but it was perfect. And that day, as he watched Grace walk down the aisle, Marcus knew his parents would be proud. Their life together was beautiful. Marcus continued running the company, but now with balance. He and Grace bought a house, not a mansion, but a real house, where they could bring Tom and Linda to live with them in their final years. Marcus cared for his in-laws with the same affection he would have liked to give to his own parents. And when their daughter was born, a beautiful little girl they named Helen, after Marcus's mother, he held that child in his arms and made a silent promise: "I'll be there, I'll be here. You'll never have to wonder if your father loves you, because I'll show you every day." And he showed it. Marcus was the father he couldn't be. He went to all the school performances, to all the games. He had dinner at home every night. He played, laughed, cried with him. He was present. Grace and Marcus raised Helen with faith, with love, with values. And as they watched her grow, Marcus often thought about how his life had changed, how he had been so lost, so broken, so close to throwing it all away, and how a woman with a heart of gold had stopped on that sidewalk and decided to believe in him when he no longer believed in himself. Years later, when Marcus already had gray hair and wrinkles around his eyes, he returned to that same sidewalk where Grace had found him. He stood there for a few minutes, just remembering who he was, remembering how far he had come. Grace appeared beside him, taking his hand. She always knew when he needed her. "Are you thinking about that day?" she asked. "I always think about it," Marcus replied. "It was the day my life began anew. It was the day I met you. I found faith. I found purpose." "You know what I think?" Grace said, resting her head on his shoulder. "I think your parents guided you to me that day. I think they never abandoned you, and they're proud of the man you've become." Marcus felt tears in his eyes, but they were good tears, tears of gratitude. "I hope so," he whispered. "I really hope so." And in that moment, with Grace by his side, with a wonderful daughter waiting for them at home, with a life full of purpose and love, Marcus finally felt complete peace. Because he had learned the most important lesson. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about how much success you achieve. It's about the people you love. It's about being present. It's about transforming your pain into something greater. It's about starting over. Even when you think it's too late. Because it's never too late, never. Look, Marcus's story makes me think about something. We spend our whole lives chasing things we think will fill the void. Money, success, fame. But in the end, what really matters are the people we love and the time we spend with them. Marcus lost his parents, and nothing could bring them back. But he had a second chance. He found someone who believed in him when he no longer believed in himself, and he chose to start over. So I ask you, and you, are you spending time with the people who matter? Are you living with purpose? Because we never know how much time we have. But we always have the chance to start again. If this story touched you in any way, leave a like, comment what you thought, and subscribe to the channel to continue listening to stories that will make you reflect on life. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end.